Hi, Dan. My question today is why is the path to your worthy goal a winding path? And why is it never the path that you think?
When we set a goal, we know that the important thing in a goal statement is to clearly describe your goal in detail. The more detail, the more clarity, and writing those things down with emotion behind them is really just starting to set the stage, because if your goal is really a worthy goal, it is a goal that you don't know how to achieve. If you do know how to achieve it, like if your goal today is to have some new groceries tomorrow, well, you know how to do that. And that's a really small goal. You know how to do that. You know the steps involved. But if your goal is one that you don't know how to achieve, then our mind is not comfortable with that. Our conscious mind, our analytical mind is not comfortable with something that we want, but we don't know how to get it, because we like things to be orderly. We like to know what the plan is. We've been taught when you're in school, you're taught this is the assignment, this is how you do it, now do it and show me that you've done it. You're taught how to do things. And the same thing happens if you're in a job and somebody says, this is our goal. We're at this point, we want to be at this point, and these are the steps that we want you to take to get there. Now go to work on it. Everything is logical, sequential, and we're essentially told, sometimes we get the pleasure of doing some problem solving on our own, but usually not. Usually you're told what the sequence is, and your analytical mind wants to know what that sequence is for getting to from where you are to where you want to be. If your goal is really a worthy goal, you only know what the goal is. I want to be this, I want to do this, I want to have this, but I don't know how to get from where I am to where the goal is. So you start to set up your own logic. That's the first mistake that most people make, is using their logic to try to imagine where they're going to go, how they're going to get from point A to point B. Because if you look back from where you are now to where you were a year ago, you can see what that path was. But a year ago, you didn't know what the path was to get to where you are now. It's never governed by your logic. It's governed by a higher intelligence that knows what that path is. And we have to have a couple things. One is we have to have trust that infinite intelligence, God, source energy, whatever you want to call that thinking stuff that Wallace Wattles talks about, knows it's infinitely intelligent and knows the path from where you are to where you want to be. You have to trust that. And you have to trust that it is not according to your logic and that it will happen. And we could talk about the physics of that at length, but you have to trust that it will happen, and you have to release your logic. You have to release your thinking, because the power that is creating life in you already knows what that path is. And you have to trust that that's the case and release your own thinking to allow that to happen, to allow that information. What's the next step? And sometimes the next step isn't a logical step, I can tell you that. But it's the step, if you think of it like water flowing down a hill. It rains in the mountains and the rain produces streams, and the streams never take a straight path. They never take what would be a logical path, the path that the engineer would design. It's never that path. It's always this strange, convoluted path of going here, going there, going around rocks, going down little gullies, until it finally, by compulsion, gets back to its source, which is what you're trying to do, is get from where you are in the mountains to the source of all energy. For water, it's the ocean. For us, it's being unified with infinite intelligence. Thanks for being with us today. My goal is to give you value with every lesson. If you would like us to notify you every time a new lesson is ready, click subscribe below, then turn on notification. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks.